Hey, Daily Dosers, Nate here. Let me hit you with a question right off the bat. When is the last time you did something for the first time? I mean, take a second and look back in the rearview mirror of your crazy, busy life and ask yourself, when's the last time I did something for the first time? Allow me to go ahead and answer that question on behalf of my middle son, Cardiff. He's 5 years old, and my little dude loves baseball. In fact, I'm coaching his Little League team again this year. Both Cardiff and his older brother, Kingston, are on the same team. Go Cubbies! Yeah! A few weeks ago, Cardiff did something for the first time in the middle of our Rookies Division Little League game that's never happened before. Now, let me help you understand how serious the Rookies Division is when it comes to Little League. It's only one level above T-ball, so we're still herding cats in a way. I mean, half my team has played ball before, but the other half, they like to think that the bat is a magical sword or wand or something. This is by far the hardest and best coaching gig I've ever had. So my son Cardiff finds himself at first base. It's third inning, middle of the game, and something happened for the first time that never happens in the Rookies Division. Someone hits a pop fly. Yeah, like a legit fly ball. This is the first time in the season we've ever seen a pop fly in the game. I mean, most batters strike out or dribble a little ground ball into the infield, but a pop fly to my son, who's 5 years old, this is his moment. He's got this. We worked on this at home. Cardiff anxiously shuffles his feet like he's the penguin from Happy Feet. And I hold my breath, say a little prayer. And as he reaches his little mini glove up to the sky, his glove, not mine, the ball bounces off the top of his glove, slams into his bare hand, and dribbles to the ground. Base hit. My son, hand hurting, pride crushed, tears flowing, immediately becomes a puddle of emotion in the infield dirt. And I kneel down beside him. I put my arm around him, and I do what any good coach or dad would do. I let him know that it's going to be okay. Things like this happen, and I love him. I love him regardless of he catches the ball or not, gets a hit or not. He's my son, and I'm proud of him. Now, in my heart, I want him to know that he needs to get back into the game. He might have an opportunity to catch another pop fly. I really believed that. But in my head, I know the chances of a pop fly in a game hit to my son, slim to none. Yo, Daily Dosers, the very next batter, the very next pitch, pop fly to my son. I kid you not. You can't make this stuff up. Cardiff anxiously shuffles his feet again, gets under it, and lifts that mini glove. It was like the scene from The Sandlot. He just puts it up. I think he closed his eyes, and the ball lands in his glove. He caught it. Everybody, my team, other team, coaches, they're clapping. They're going nuts. Top 10 proud moment of my life. Like, proud parent moment. I'm hugging him. We're twirling around. It's like we won the World Series. Let me hit you with one more last question. Does God have a top 10? Does God have a top 10 proud Jesus moment? I mean, thinking through the perspective of God being proud of his boy for all that he's accomplished, for all the ways he's faithfully and submissively and obediently followed Dad's plan, God's will. I mean, that perspective really rocked me in a good way. So let me ask you this. What would make the top 10 list? Let me give you two that I think make the top 10 list, if there are ones. And they kind of bookend Jesus' earthly ministry. The first thing he does and the last thing he does. The very first act of Jesus' earthly ministry is not feeding the 5,000. It's not healing the crowd or performing a miracle. The first moment of Jesus' earthly ministry is simply an act of faithful obedience. It's the baptism of Jesus. I mean, God is so proud of his boy that he can't help but audibly express his approval. Do you remember that in Matthew 3? It says this from verse 17, a voice from heaven said, "This is my son, and I love him. I am very pleased with him." Amazing. Faithful act of obedience, not a miracle. Consequently, the last moment of Jesus' earthly ministry is also a simple act of faithful obedience. It's the ascension of Jesus. I mean, Jesus has just pulled off Easter and gone before hundreds to let them know that he has conquered death and there's life and life to the full. Jesus had faithfully, obediently completed God's plan of redemption. And now he's finally reunited with Dad, God, and his Son in heaven. Amazing stuff. Faithful act of obedience. So let me close with this last verse in 1 Peter. Because as we get ready for Easter, and we look to emulate, journey with Jesus in the same way. May God find us faithful in the way that we live our lives. Verse 3, 1 Peter says this, "Praise be to God, the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. In his great mercy, he has given us new birth into a living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, and into an inheritance that can never perish, spoil, or fade. This inheritance is kept for you." Jesus put death to death and offers life and life to the full. We've been given a living hope, an inheritance that will never perish, spoil, or fade. So last question, what does your top 10 moments of obedience look like today, this week? Start by thanking God for all the ways he's been faithful to you. Take a moment and look back in your rearview mirror of life and your journey with Jesus. How has God been faithful to you? I guarantee you, you do that, and you'll see these top 10 moments of the way that God has been so faithful and merciful and graceful to you. And may that allow you to respond in a way that is worshipful, honoring to God. Go get it, Daily Dosers.